Hello! So the latest look on my nail art blog is a simple sponging gradient, and those of my friends who don't do nail art think it looks pretty complicated, but it's really not at all, so I want to do a quick video showing how simple this really is. So what you need, a napkin and an orange wood stick, or just something that'll clean your cuticles, a sponge, and I recommend something like this. This is just a makeup sponge, base coat and top coat, and it's perfectly okay if you have the kind that's all in one, but I definitely recommend using both a base coat and a top coat. And in case you're curious, my base coat is China Glaze and the top coat is Seche Vite. Nail polish. I suggest at least 2 colors. You can do this with multiple colors, but I definitely suggest at least 2 because personally I just think it looks better that way. So the colors I'm using, China Glaze Flying Dragon and China Glaze Blue Sparrow. Now the first thing you want to do is apply your base coat. And the reason for the base coat is, first of all, it helps make sure your nail is nice and smooth so the nail polish can actually adhere better. But also it keeps the nail polish from staining your nails. Put on at least 1 or 2 coats of base coat and let that dry. So once your base coat is dry, you want to choose the color that you want to be the bottom color, and you want to apply at least 2 coats. You want to let dry in between layers, otherwise if you apply a second coat before the first coat fully dries, it'll take forever to dry, and then you'll try to sponge on the second color and everything will smear, and there's really no way to fix that. You'll have to remove it and start over. When your polish is completely dry, take the second color, and basically what you want to do is just kind of a sloppy French tip. This is because you're going to want the tip to be opaque, but you don't want to be sponging for an hour, so this is the easiest way to get an opaque tip. You just kind of start off opaque. It doesn't have to be perfect, but do that and let it dry. And just for right now, that's what it looks like. Alright, now you take the sponge and you put a decent amount of polish on the sponge. It doesn't exactly matter where, but I recommend keeping close to an edge because it's just easier to easier to sponge it when it's close to the edge. So now what you do is you sponge just past the edge of your French tip because you want to build up layers. You don't really need to let it dry between layers, but you need to give it a little bit of time to dry. It doesn't need to be dry completely, but yeah. So you put a little bit more polish on the sponge, keep it in the same place, and if you accidentally put too much polish on the sponge, just keep sponging on your finger, lightly by the way, light touch, and it'll dab off the excess. And you will get some on your skin. That's perfectly fine. You will clean that off later. Depending on your nail bed, you want to sponge approximately halfway down your nail. And by that point, do not put any more polish on the sponge. Just use what's already on there and just dab a couple times to get the end of the gradient. And that's it. Once that's dry, you take your top coat and you top coat it. Mess and all, that's what it looks like right now. Okay, so the very last step is to clean your cuticles. Now what I use is a small angled brush, and I believe this is called a dab-in dish. I'm not sure about the pronunciation, but you want a small cup or small dish with a tiny amount of nail polish remover in there. Now what I use and what I recommend is pure acetone. It will dry out your skin, so I recommend cuticle cream or cuticle oil or even just lotion to apply when you're all done. Nail polish remover that is not pure acetone will work. It just won't work as well because what you're doing is you're going to dip the brush into the remover and rub off the nail polish off of your skin. Pure acetone, it's basically just a couple swipes and you're done, but non-pure acetone, you're going to be rubbing for a little while. So although it will work, I simply recommend pure acetone so you're not rubbing forever. But anyway, like I said, you just dip the brush in there and you just rub out the polish on your skin to get it off of there. Be careful not to actually rub the remover against your nail, because obviously you're going to remove everything you just did. Alright, it's all cleaned up, that's what it looks like, and you're all done. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial.